All right, so we're live. Are we live? If anyone can see this, let me know if we're live, if you can hear me. Also, let me know if you hear the music in the background, because the last time I got a copyright strike because I was playing some of my personal music. And the problem with that is that in some countries, when this happens, they completely mute the video, and so people were not able to hear me. But anyway, I see that there is a one concurrent viewer. I know that this is a weird time for me to go live with a modeling video. Hey Matteo, what's up, man? Okay, good. So I guess that people can see me and hear me. Um, Today we're gonna do some modeling. I'm having a lot of fun with Blender. I have to say it's a fantastic tool. I've done this yesterday. I've done part of it yesterday during a live. I made the sword. I mirrored some elements. I created the opening up here in the geometry. I created the cables, and it was a lot of fun. So I thought, okay, let's do it again. Let's try to explore a little bit and learn, because this is also a learning process for myself, right? But anyway, let's look for something random to model. Oh, the donut. That's what the internet needs, another Blender donut tutorial. Um, oh, by the way, I'm expecting a delivery to happen today, and so I might have to leave for a few minutes just to go and sign for the delivery. Help me deciding, what should I model? There are 4 people watching. Leave a comment. Let me know. I'm looking at the chat. Maybe you can help me figure a few things out. I really like all these small icons, sort of drawings, because they inspire you, to not only to do something similar, but also like they teach you how the artists rationalize some of the main objects and some of the main shapes. Uh, Banana, car, shoes, a whip, a Nutella jar. You guys know that I love Nutella. Uh, Ramen. Should we do fridge? Should we model a fridge? I don't know why, but I like the idea of modeling a fridge. Oh, oh, you see, that's my delivery. I'll be back in a second. Alright. So, I'm doing an unboxing live. I just got a parcel. It's from Goat, one of my favorite online stores. Ooh. Wait a second. Let me maximize this so that you can have sort of an appreciation. Oh, you don't see my camera there. Alright, sorry, I apologize. Just got a pair of Spitzike Jordans. This is the lava colorway. I love this shoe. It reminds me of the Yeezys that Kanye did for Nike. It's a beautiful shoe. But anyway, enough. We were looking for something to model. I saw an icon before, maybe I dreamt of it. Ah, yes. So, I saw this icon of this little rocket. And there are a few things where I see I might have some issues with, like, you know, cutting the holes through the rocket, as well as making the bottom part and everything. So let's just get started and let's see how far we can get, okay? I'm gonna select the cube, delete it. Oh, actually, let me switch on the shortcut viewer so that you can see what I'm doing. Shift A, and I'm going to create a cylinder, sorry. And I'm also gonna switch on my object gizmo so that I can model a little bit faster. There you go. Control A to apply rotation and scale. And I'm just gonna drop a subdivision surface on this thing so that it starts to look like it starts to go in that direction, right? I'm also gonna say in the normals, use auto smooth and then right click shade smooth. Let's start to add some loops. So Control R. Wait, I need to go into edit mode. Control R, and I'm gonna Control R, slide some loops there. S to scale them up. Then I'll do the same thing there. Control R. And then another thing that I want to do, since these artifacts come from the fact that, you know, the top and bottom polygon, they're not subdivided. Let me show you what I mean. So if I go into my geometry, the top and the bottom part are actually uniform. And there is a way to fix this quickly. I'll go into edit mode, choose faces, say I for inset, and then M to collapse. And so now we have subdivisions there. And I can do the same thing up there. And so I for inset and then M collapse. This hasn't solved the problem of the shading. We'll have to add some loops, but for now it fixes a little bit the problem of the topology. All right, so let me go into face mode. Let me select the top elements here and let me scale them down. Maybe move them up. Actually, let me take some more rockets. Rockets drawings. There you go. So I can keep this a little bit as a reference to see how other artists did it. I want to go for something cartoonish, so something like this. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna select the loop here, edge mode. There you go. S to scale it up, and then from the front I'm gonna go into face mode, select all these edges, extrude them down, then scale them, and since the bottom is going to be relatively rigid, I'm going to bevel the edge. 2 to go into edge mode, and then Alt to select the loop, and then Control B to bevel it. I actually need only one subdivision. This is going to be enough to contain the effect of the subdivision. And maybe the shape is still a little bit weird. Let's make it a little bit more pronounced, and then on top I'm gonna do the same thing. So go into edit mode, select this loop up here, and Control B to give it, oh, I just gave him one subdivision, that's not enough. Let's do the same again, Control B, there we go, and then I'm gonna add one subdivision with the mouse wheel. Now I can take this whole top portion by saying Alt Z to make it transparent, and then B to select everything, period to zoom select, and then S to scale. Let me go into front view. Yeah, that looks okay. It's cartoony enough. Good. So at this point, well, one thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create an actual cone for the top of this geometry. Actually, I can actually create it on the missile itself, on the rocket itself. I don't think I'm gonna change this shape. I'm happy with the shape, the way it looks, so I'm just gonna say apply. And then up here, I'm going to sort of like select the top portion like I did before, Alt Z, just select the vertices, B, and then S to scale it down, and I'll do the same with this loop here. There we go. And when I'm far from it, you simply cannot see it anymore, that it's not super sharp. And I think that for the purpose of being a cartoon, this might work better than if I had it super sharp. Let me add some details to this geometry. So Alt Z, I go into edit mode. I'm gonna select this loop, and I'm gonna say Control B to sort of like give it a bevel. I'm gonna reduce the subdivisions to 1, and then this part I'm going to extrude along the normals. As you can see, it's now pointing towards the on the bottom of the Z-axis. So I'm just gonna go into front view, and then with G I'm going to raise this a little bit so that it's straight. And eventually I can also bevel slightly these edges. Let's do that. Control B. There we go, good enough. So now I'm gonna have to create the openings. But actually, to be honest with you, I don't really need to make the openings because it's not like I'm gonna have anything seen from the inside. 19 people watching, oh my god. Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry, I wasn't reading the comments because I was really into what I'm making. There is no real goal for today. I'm just modeling something. I'm trying to, I'm still very much into the process of learning Blender, and so I'm just playing around. Last say I love Blender, I have to say, has started like maybe 2 months ago, and I'm already like very proficient, meaning that I can more or less model everything that it's thrown at me. Matteo, yes, I have an addiction to shoes. Can you actually see the shoes that my wife makes me keep in my room? Let me show you. I'm just gonna untie my camera. Yesterday I was counting them, and I have only in this room around 50 pairs. Just in this room. And then there is the living room, and then there is a balcony. It's a real problem. Let me enlarge this a little bit. Okay, 21 people watching and only 2 likes. What are you guys doing? Do you hate me? Do you hate my face? Ezekiel, when is the next D2 event? I don't know yet. We're working on it. If the worst case scenario is that we cannot do something, we're gonna come up with something, and we're gonna do it online most likely, but we don't know yet. The last conversations that we had with some people showed us that there is the will of going back to doing live events. On the other end, we have the responsibilities as event creators not to do something that can actually give problems to people. These are weird times, man. I wish I could give you a straight answer, but the reality is that I don't have it. But anyway, let's continue modeling this bad boy. Bad boy. All right, Shift A. Let's make a cylinder. I'm gonna move the cylinder out of the way for now, and I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees. I'm gonna squeeze it down a little bit, and I'm gonna keep it like relatively low poly, because probably I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I still don't know. All right, so let's go into edit mode, inset, and then I'm gonna extrude this. Pepper, what's going on, my love? Did you get mad at the person? Which person? I'm gonna select these loops and these loops, Control B for beveling. Oh, wait. You see, when this happens, that you bevel an object and the bevel doesn't behave properly, this is because I have changed basically the core parameters of geometry. And one of the core parameters is the scale parameter, right? So what that means is that the basic value of 1 that it's given to the cylinder has been now stretched to, say, 0.3, 0.2, and then 1 for the diameter. What this means is that all of my operations are going to be affecting the geometry in a proportional way in relationship to the scale that it's now distorted. To fix this, all I have to do is say Control A, go into edit mode, Control A, and apply rotation and scale. If I now go back to the edge mode and I say Control B, you will see that the bevel now behaves the way that it's supposed to. I'm gonna give it a couple of subdivisions. And this is good enough for me, Like I could try and also project this geometry around the skin of the rocket. Maybe we can try that. I've never done it. Let me put this here in front. And now in theory, there should be a modifier called, let's see. Is it project? Is it, somebody can tell me? If you know how to use Blender, how do you project a surface on top of another? There is a modifier for that, right? Mesh deform, no, shrink wrap. It could be shrink wrap. Target this one. Yeah, you see? It's happening, something is happening. But now, do we need to use an offset? And the offset, though, it's actually flattening the whole geometry. So this is not the right snap mode. Outside. Oh, look at that. It's like if I have to move it, and then, all right, so you see what it's happening here. This is so weird, so trippy. So I'll have to like turn my geometry, but this is not right. This is not what I wanted to do. Let's see. Let me zero this and let me move my geometry in that direction. What if I apply the rotation like this? Let's try it. Local. I'll scale this in that direction. This really doesn't look like a proper rocket, but that's okay. It's actually kind of cool. Let's see what happens if I smooth this now. Subdivision surface. It gets very smooth. Right click, shade, smooth. But it's not what I was looking for. I mean, it's not gonna look bad, probably. You know what? Let's do it by hand. I know that this is the wrong way. I believe it's like Maya, you need to first have a flat shape and then extrude it. I really don't know, you know, Jonathan. I've seen other people doing it. Maybe I need to do a little bit of research, but of course I'm not gonna do it here now. I'm just gonna fake it until I make it. I'm very good at doing that. So I'm gonna delete the shrink wrap. I don't need it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give my geometry a lattice. And I'm gonna center this lattice to my geometry, more or less. It's always a good idea to have it a little bit bigger than your geometry. I'm gonna do the same from the side. And I'm gonna give this lattice some subdivisions. Let's do 4 in each direction so that we can have a little bit more control. And then I'm gonna tell my geometry to use a lattice modifier. And now I can pick the object of the lattice. And in theory, now if I move the lattice points in edit mode, yes, it controls my geometry. Okay, good enough. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select with B all the top points. Go to the side, and I'm gonna start squishing this thing towards my rocket. And this is working. All right. I'm gonna do the same from the top. I'm gonna deselect everything, and then with B, I'll select these center points, so to make this a little bit more curved. And then I'm gonna select all the points, push this back again. This is working. And we need to make it a little bit more extreme, so deselect B top points, move this forward like this. A again. Now you can see the geometry, it's not perfectly centered. How does it look? It's not bad. Could be better. Of course it could be better. It can always be better. There we go. I'm just fine-tuning this by hand. And you know what? Actually, in theory, if this is an oblong, and so, you know, a round shape, this should bulge a little bit on the outside, right? And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create a sphere, and then put this sphere, trying to fit this sphere over this shape. Also, let me make this geometry smooth. And maybe what happens? Nah, it's okay. I'll leave it like this. Okay, Shift A, mesh, UV sphere, and I'm gonna sort of like turn this sphere like this, make it change the gizmo to local so that I can squeeze it out like this. And then I'm just gonna try and fit it into this geometry. It's gonna be quick and it's gonna be very dirty. You will squeeze it that way also. Yeah, I like that. Shade smooth. You see, that's done. Good. So what I'm gonna do, let me see. Shrink wrap the body with keep above surface checked. Okay, then I'll have to try that another time. Hi Federico, I thought it was the purple tentacle from Day of the Tentacle. No, it's not. All right, so let me take a look at some other rockets. Always model after a reference, a graphical reference, because then you don't have to guess things, right? So there should be the engine part that we can make. Okay. Let's do that. How do we do this? Okay, I'm gonna go into the geometry up here, go into face mode, and then I'm gonna Alt Z and then box select this part. Oops, I need to deselect it and select it again. Good. So now I'm gonna duplicate this with Shift D, click on Escape and then P to create a new object by loose parts. And so now if I select this element, it's separated, you see? Good. Right click, set origin to geometry. I'm gonna select all faces and then I will extrude them along the normals. There we go. Yeah, that's good enough. One other thing that we could do, we could select nah, you know what? Let's not do that. Now what I need is the wings, right? The little wings at the bottom. These are very simple. It's just that we need to decide on which style we need to go. Should we do something curved? Should we do something a little bit more geometric? Because I think that the geometric one works. It's nice. This makes it look like a manga from the 70s or something, like Jig or, I don't know, Goldrake. What do you guys say? What do you guys say? Let me know. Come on. I need you to chime in this. And also 21 people watching. Why is there only 13 likes? Come on. You're trying to break my heart. I'm very sensitive. These are the holidays. And if I get sensitive, then I compensate with food. And that's not a good thing. All right. I'm going to go for geometrical. I'll do that. Shift A, cube. I'm gonna move the cube down there, more or less. And then squeeze it in a little bit more. I, what's up, man? All right, so Alt Z. I'm gonna go into edge mode, G, G again to move it. I like this. This is cool. All right, so another thing that I'm gonna do, select the face. There it is. Alt Z to untransparent this thing. And then I'm gonna scale it down, scale it down, scale it down. You see, this thing of scaling down something until it gets to 0. I've learned it in Maya years and years ago, and now it's still an habit that I have. No matter which software I use, I still do that instead of saying, you know, scale in this direction and then 0. I make my life so difficult. 1, select all points, and then M, merge by distance. And so this is merged by instance. Now, one thing that I could do to make a good replicate of all this, an easy way to do it, is to actually go into object mode, make everything transparent, and then with control period, I can take my gizmo, move it to the center of my geometry. Is it centered? More or less it is. There you go. Let's do it again. It's precise enough, trust me. And control period again to confirm the gizmo. Now I'm gonna say Shift D to duplicate. Then I'm just gonna rotate it a third of 360, which is 120, right? Good. And I'll do the same, Shift D, rotate it another 120 degrees. And now I've got the fins or the wings, whatever, of the rocket. Looks good enough. Actually, the only thing is that I would like this to be a little bit more like that, yeah. So that when we launch the rocket into space, you'll be able to see the oblong or the window, whatever it's called. What's the name of this in English? Is it oblong? 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 All right, good enough. What do we do next? What do we do? Let's look at the pictures. We should put some fire, right? That will present a challenge in itself, but I think I have a creative way to overcome that. Can we add anything? Let's give it some colors. What do you think? Which colors should we make this? Red, it's very prominent in all these drawings. Red, orange. Ooh, I like this orange one. I'm a sucker for all orangey, redgy, violetgy colors, you know, like everything that it's very loud, like me. All right. Let's make it orange. I'm gonna go into materials, new material, and then we're gonna make this something orangey. Let's change this to developer mode so that we see the colors as we apply them. Developer, is it developer? Dev mode, whatever dev mode mean. And then we'll make the top super red. And so let's go to the front. We will go into edit mode, Alt Z, and then I'm gonna select the faces, all these top faces. There we go. Maybe I don't want to select all of them, but it's okay. Make another material. I make this, let's call it red. And this one we call it orange. Let's go to red. Let's make this red, as the word suggests. And then we say assign. Now the material is assigned. The only thing is that maybe I want to select this loop here and make it white. And so I'm gonna simply duplicate this material. Whoops, no, that's not the right thing that I wanted to do. I want to create a new material and then say new. I call this white. And I'm gonna say assign. And so now we have a white line in here. Now for the whatever it's called, I'm just gonna, first of all, I'm gonna say apply the lattice. So now I can get rid of this. This element here, I'm going to make it like the orange, but I'm gonna duplicate it and make it a little bit darker, something like this, so that we stay within the same realm or range of colors. Then for the glass of this window, we're going to create a new material and we're gonna make it specular, little roughness, maybe a little bit darker so that it looks like this. And then for the bottom, we could, for the bottom, what can we do for the bottom? Let me look at some pictures. Okay, so the bottom, they keep it orange in this case, and they have some lines going through. Maybe we'll make those as well. I'm afraid that if I make this out of metal, it's going to look weird. It's going to look weird because it's going to look a little bit more realistic than it's supposed to be. And so I'll tell you what, we are going to stick to our guns. Oh, I closed the references, it's okay. And we're gonna make this dark orange. Let's call it dark orange. And then the wings themselves, we're going to make red. Oh, and actually, that's the thing that I don't like about Blender, is that I cannot apply multiple things to multiple things. Like now I selected all the 3 wings and I could not apply the material to all of them because apparently Blender only selects the last one. And so I have to do this by hand. Or is there a way not to do that? Let me know, because I honestly have no idea. All right, good. So like this, maybe here we're going to get some geometry to create some of the lines. Maybe I'll select also this up here. There you go. And say Shift D, then P by loose parts. And now I can select just this geometry. And I'm gonna go into edit mode, select this loop and say inset. I'll do the same here. Select this loop, inset. And I'm gonna select also this loop, Control I to invert it, delete the faces, and now select everything, and oops, select everything, and then I'll extrude it along the normal like this. And maybe I'll select the edges. Whoops. There we go. So that I can bevel them. Bevel these edges. There you go. And now here for this model, we're going to delete all the other materials, and we're just gonna keep the white. Good, so this looks like it's a cute little rocket, right? I can now take all the geometry and say Control J, and now this is just one rocket. There we go. Let's make the fire. For the fire, we're going to use a simple geometry. So Control A, Mesh, Plane. I'm gonna, rotate this 90 degrees. G, bring it down. Scale it down. G, to put it in there. Good. And so one thing that I'm gonna do now is try to model this so to make it look like a fire. Let me use some reference again. Rocket cartoon. There we go. Okay. This is actually really cute when it looks like when it's a little tear of fire. This is also nice. We could have it like this, sort of like it's shooting from the bottle of the rocket. And let's do that. I think it could be interesting. Let me add Control R, a loop up there. And then I'm gonna select this geometry here, S to scale it up. And then I'm gonna drop this into a subdivision surface. And also like add the loop down there. I'm gonna raise the subdivisions. And then one thing that I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna duplicate this. Yeah, I think that this is the best thing to do. So Shift D to duplicate it in that direction. There we go. Scale it. Push it up. And actually, you know what? I would like these elements to have some sort of depth. And so I'm gonna take this geometry, go into face mode, select everything, and then extrude it once, then extrude it twice, so that it stays in that shape, and then right click, shade smooth. And now I'm actually gonna copy it again. First of all, I'm gonna move it back, and I'm gonna give it an emissive color. Let's see how it works on the cartoon. So the outer, it's warmer. So I'm gonna make this into an emissive red. Where is it? Emission. There we go. And use sort of like a red. Let's go into developer mode, dev mode, Shift D to make a copy, scale it up, move it up, scale it into that direction, and I'm gonna duplicate this material. I'm gonna make this a little bit more orangey, and I'm gonna repeat this again, Shift D, scale it up, bring it up, scale it in this direction. Let's make sure that it's from the side close enough. Make a copy of this material, make it a little bit more yellowish. This is looking cool, huh? Now let's frame our artwork, if you like, because I would like the fire to, you know, to be cut out of the picture. Maybe, I don't know. Do we have a camera? We probably do have a camera. Let's see, 0. Okay, the camera is in the wrong place. I'm just gonna lock the camera to view, and I'm gonna find a nice frame. And also, one thing to consider is that I'm doing this for Instagram, so I'm gonna make this into a square format, 2000 by 2000. And I'm gonna recenter my camera. And actually, you know what? I can take these 3 elements, Control J. I still want to be able to edit them by themselves, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say take this and then take this and then Control P, parent to object. So every time that I now move the rocket, even though this is not part of the model, these things will be parented, right? And so you see, that's what I meant, that I want to have sort of like a picture where the fire it's actually cut out and then the rocket it's inside. I think that's good enough. Let's see how this comes out rendered. At the moment we only have the light from the geometry there, and also there are many things missing in our viewport. So let's say ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflections. I don't want to have any motion blur. There is no light at the moment illuminating this thing. There is also like no background, so let's just add all these things. Shift A, mesh, plane, S for scale. And a glass of water. 90. We'll put it back like this, and then we say Shift A, the light area, and we move the light to the front. R for rotating, minus 90, S for scaling. Let's go back to our camera. The light is not doing much right now. Let's see if we raise a little bit the strength of the light. Let's do 1000. Whoa, now it's super like blown out. 50, good. No, 500, that's what I meant. 500, it's good enough. The background, it's a little bit too close, of course. Let's put it back. And let's scale it up. Go back to 0. Okay, now the background, I'm going to make blue, right? Yeah, blue. That's not blue. It's something else. Maybe I'll make it specular and rough. And another thing that I could do is to actually use another light. Shift D. Whoops. Shift D to duplicate this. And to sort of like give it a background passepartout, right? See what I mean? So now if I... Actually, the problem is that at the moment, all this geometry has materials that don't have any physical property. There is no reflection. There is nothing of that kind. First of all, let me raise the strength of the flame here. Let me go there. Okay, 2.5. Why doesn't allow me to select the single geometry? Oh, I actually did... I merged everything. Okay, yes, sorry. So 2.5, 3 maybe, and then this material. Yes, let's go back to our viewport. Maybe the light at the back should be a little bit bigger and hidden behind the rocket, so to say. Scale it down, move it a little bit around like this, and maybe we'll do it a little bit less intense. Yeah, like this, it's a little bit better. Good, so let's start to give a little bit more of a realistic appearance to these materials. So first of all, I'm gonna raise the specular and then lower the roughness. And I'll do basically the same for all the materials that I've created. So you see, you start to get these nice reflections. Now, the problem is that I have a light that is shooting straight at the rocket. This is not ideal to sort of like create contrast. The image comes out relatively flat. We will fix this in a second. Let's raise the specular, lower the roughness, and the dark orange will do the same. Raise the specular, lower the roughness. So we kind of start to get this look that it's a little bit more organic, right? It looks a little bit better, slightly better. Where did I use this? Oh, this is for the blur. For the blur. All right, we'll make this not rough at all, and raise the specular to 100%. Nuno Mota, Control plus B minus F Alt S plus M divided by 10. Blender. Yeah, you're right. It's it can get very, what do you call it? Intense sometimes, right? Specular roughness down. This is cool. I like that. Our fantastic rocket. It's coming along. Hey James, what's up, man? All right, so now this light, as I was telling you, it's not ideal because it's looking straight at the rocket. So I'm gonna sort of like shape it this way, and then I'm gonna turn it a little bit so that it's going to be, you see, looking at the rocket from the other side. Let's go to the front face, G, and as you can see now, I have, you see that highlight down there. One thing that I can do is I can go in the front view, maybe put this a little bit closer, and then start playing with the position. And maybe the rotation as well. Yeah, that's a lot better, you see, because now we start to add some sort of like variation in the light. And so this might have to be maybe a little bit extreme, like maybe we really want to see this light from the side down there, right? So 0 to reframe it, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, like this. And then we can make another copy of this light. Let's do it from the front. Shift D. And then this one we'll have to. So now we have this nice light going through. Of course, we want to have some variation also on that light. Maybe we scale it up a little bit so that it becomes a little bit wider. Maybe you want to have it a little bit more from the front. And another thing that we could do, we could change actually the color of the light to add a little bit more variation again. Let's make this a little bit pinkish, right? Okay, now let's go into the render engine options, and in the shadows I'm going to change the cube size to something like 4K, use higher bit depth, and let's see what happens when I click render and this image comes out fully rendered. Yeah, I'd say it's not bad. It's cute. Come on, what do you guys think? There is something missing, maybe some stars, you know, like here and there. And we could create this with some sort of like scatter. Actually, you know what? I have the feeling that this might look good, even if it was like straight up. You know, not in an angle, but like, let's try. I'm gonna select the light because I want to keep it that way, and then I'm gonna select my rocket, and let's see what happens if I... okay, so I cannot do that because... Okay, it's fine. 0. I'm gonna make it like this. And the light is actually still looking okay. Let's try and see if I can take both of them. And instead of rotating them local, we rotate them global. There we go. Let's see it from the front view. And then I move this like this. Rotate it a little bit more. And then I go into my render view. And see what happens if I click render. What do you guys think? Planets, yes. Thank you, Jonathan. Those Dragon Ball lines, what is it? Okay, Bianca, I look forward to that. Hey, David, what's going on, man? Everything okay? Of course, I need to turn also the light at the back. This light here. Let me go to the front view. The ones we heard are you and me. I'm listening to some Tupac. And some Coolio. I'm listening to some... who am I listening to? I'm listening to... God damn it, where is it? I'm listening to some Mac Miller. I'm listening to some Notorious B.I.G. All right, so let me click 0. And let's see again if I now have modified this light. I think that there is something missing. It's the planets and the star, don't you think? Maybe I'll finish that later because it's gonna be boring. Let me just take the camera. Item. Okay, you see the camera, it's not super straight and I hate that. So I'm gonna make 90 degrees for the camera. I'm gonna 0 the rotation in the y direction and I'm gonna make this 180. For the position, we could keep this in the dead center. Z is going up. Okay, good. So now more or less I think that the camera should be in the middle. I'm tempted to make this light a little bit more strong. 750. And the color something more, yeah, sci-fi to sort of like create some differentiation, right? Yeah, and that's it. And also another thing that I wanted to do. You see this element here, it's really like edgy. And so one thing that we could do, we could select the geometry. Select the geometry and then go into face mode. And then with L hovering on top of this geometry, we can say P by selection, create a new object. The only thing is that I think that now this new object has been created. No, it's been separated. That's the word. My God. Add modifier to subdivision surface. This makes it a little bit more round. Let's see what happens if it's 2. Yeah, this looks great. If I tell you that it looks great, it probably does. F12. This is our little render. What do you guys think? I'm gonna put the planets later on. I'm gonna figure out a way to put some stars maybe also. But that's it. This is a very quick modeling kind of a nicky thing that I did for today. What do you guys think? Let me know. Also, 19 people watching. Some people might be new. Why don't you leave a like? I'm a nice guy. I work so hard. I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, and I do that for you guys watching me from whatever it is that you're watching me from. Good! So, I don't know if I'm gonna have the time tomorrow morning to tune in and do another show, do another little bit of modeling or something. I'm gonna be opening Christmas presents, as I think you probably will be too. So I don't know if I can tune in. In case I can't, I want to wish you guys Merry Christmas. Happy birthday, in case some of you have a birthday. Happy New Year. Jonathan, the 45 degrees rocket was a little bit more interesting. I don't know, maybe. That's the beautiful thing about 3D. You know, you can keep playing, and with Blender now, with Eve, you can actually see things happening in real time. Ooh! This I need to join it again. Control J. Maybe we'll lift this up a little bit. F12 to render it again. And it takes literally seconds, you know, to render in Eevee. Such an amazing software. But anyway, again, guys, if we don't talk again, if we don't see each other, I want to wish you guys fantastic Christmas with your friends and families. I'm gonna be eating like a pig and ruining 2 months of diet. Don't do that. Try to get a little bit of time out of the house, go for a walk. That's one of the best things about having a dog, is that even if you don't want to, my dog drags me out of the house basically every single day, and it keeps me moving. But anyway, I'll give you a big hug, a big kiss. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this. How long have we been doing this? For an hour? Oh my god, man. You must be tired of having to listen to me. Alright, guys, I'll give you a big hug. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon. I don't know. Hopefully, very soon. Mwah.